Hey everybody. So the reason for today's flight, I went to a small airstrip yesterday with a friend of mine, and about 25% of that runway was covered in like a slushy snow. And it occurred to me that it's been a little while since I've done soft field landings and takeoffs. So today I'm headed into Medicine Hat to do a bunch of touch and goes. And the point of today's touch and goes will be to be set up in a soft field landing and takeoff configuration. And I'm going to be keeping the nose wheel off the ground through every single one of those touch and goes. So I figure if I can fine tune my balance and my throttle and keep coordinated to keep the nose wheel off the ground through all of that, that I'll be comfortable again getting sort of recurrent for the soft field takeoffs and landings. So let's check out what the weather is in Medicine Hat. It's a very windy day.
Medicine Hat information, Foxtrot, weather at 1800 Zulu. Wind 200 at 17, gusting 26, visibility 30 miles. 15,000 view, ceiling 27,000 broken, temperature 12, dew point 3, altimeter 29082. Runway 21, runway service condition, runway 0321, 10% wet at 1156 Zulu. Caution bird activity, flocks of geese flying across the field from north to south. Inform Medicine Hat Radio, you have information, Foxtrot.
All right, so my downwind checks are complete. I'm just about ready to enter left downwind here for runway 21. When I line up on final, I'll be grabbing the first notch of flaps. I find the Tomahawk is very stable landing with that first notch. It's also the recommended configuration for soft field takeoffs in the POH. So I'll keep first notch of flaps in for landing and takeoff. Basically, once you break the ground and you get back in the air, you'll follow the ground effect while you accelerate in ground effect to about 70 knots, and then I'll slowly retract the flaps and climb out. Medicine Hat Radio, Tango Zulu Whiskey is on left downwind, runway 21 for a touch and go.
Tango Zulu Whiskey, Medicine Hat Radio, roger.
Now the one cautionary thing with how windy it is that base to final is going to give you the illusion of a skidding turn. So you've got to really just stick to the rate 1 turn and ignore that illusion. Last thing I want to do is end up going into a stall and spin scenario when I'm too low to the ground to recover. See, there's that illusion of that wicked skidding turn, but you're not skidding. Medicine Hat Radio, Tango Zulu Whiskey is on final, runway 21 for touch and go.
Tango Zulu Whiskey, Medicine Hat Radio, roger. Wind 200 at 19, gusting 26.
There's first notch flaps. I'll slow to approach speed plus a few knots for gust factor. Here we go, poppin' wheelies. Don't let the nose touch. Little bit more throttle. Here we are in ground effect. Accelerate to 70 knots. Track flaps. Climb out. We're still good for birds. Now the upwind leg here is pretty wild. I've got a crab angle of about 45 degrees or so that I can track perpendicular to the runway. So that's all part of these illusions of flying in high wind conditions. Now, even though it looks like I'm skidding, I'm sticking to these rate 1 coordinated turns to line up to final. Don't fall for the illusion of needing to step on the rudder, because that's what can get you into a stall spin scenario. Medicine Radio, Tango Zulu Whiskey is on final, runway 21 for touch and go.
Roger, wind 210 at 15, gusting 26.
So we'll have about five knots added to our approach speed of 70, so we'll come in at 75. That'll be for the gust factor. Still good for birds. They sneak up in that treed section there. That's actually where cemetery is. There's a little phenomenon as you approach this runway. There's often a little bit of a dip, like there's an air pocket here before the runway. Locals often call it the graveyard dip. Took a bit of a gust there. A little bit more, we'll just leave it on. And nose off the ground. Poppin' a wheelie. And we're off. Stay in this ground effect till we hit 70. Ease the flap up, flaps up, and away we go. Still good for birds. Engine gauges still looking beautiful. Medicine Radio, Tango Zulu Whiskey's on final, runway 21 for touch and go.
Roger, wind 210 at 16.
First notch flap. Yeah, I can see that windsock right down the pipe. Odd little gust still. Sort it out here. Keep that wheel off. Doing wheelies. We'll just balance this. Poppin' wheelies. Okay, there we go. And we're off. Stay in ground effect. Accelerate to 70. Flap slowly up. And we're gone. You know, I appreciate you coming along and flying with me today. It's such a beautiful day. You know, sometimes the winter can get pretty dull for people, especially areas where you get snowed in, and if you're not a big snow person or winter sports person, it's a terrible time of the year. Medicine Radio, Tango Zulu Whiskey's on short final, runway 21 for touch and go.
Tango Zulu Whiskey, Medicine Radio, Roger, wind 200 at 16, gusting 21.
They're in. Poppin' wheelies. Well, let's pull out of this here. Stay in the ground effect. Accelerate to 70, through 70, flaps up slowly. Climb out. Beautiful. Man, what an awesome day. Now we got an air ambulance coming in. They're coming in from the north and are going to join a right-hand base. So what we're going to do is, as we get going on our downwind, we'll see where this King Air is. And if they're kind of close, we'll just extend our downwind, give them the courtesy of coming in. Because an air ambulance flight's more important than my little flight. Medicine Radio, Tango Zulu Whiskey is on left downwind, runway 21. I'll make this one a full stop and I'll exit on Alpha.
Tango Zulu Whiskey, Medicine Radio, roger. Traffic inbound from the west to land runway 21 is a King Air. It'll be on final in 3.5 to 4 minutes.
Medicine Radio, Tango Zulu Whiskey, checks that other traffic. I'll keep the circuit tight and should be off and no conflict.
Roger.
And Medicine Radio, Tango Zulu Whiskey on short final, runway 21, full stop.
Tango Zulu Whiskey, Medicine Radio, roger. Wind 200 at 16, gusting 24.
I got to take the first exit on this one just so I can get off the runway for this air ambulance. Little float. These are in. Here we go. Medicine Radio, Tango Zulu Whiskey is down and clear.
Tango Zulu Whiskey, Medicine Radio, roger.
Thank you so much for flying with me. It was kind of just a fun skill building practice day. Shake some rust off with soft field landings and takeoffs. Just kind of developing that skill for keeping the balance going between back pressure on the controls, taking the weight off the nose wheel and keeping it off as long as possible, and the balance on throttle application. So overall, great day to fly. And another 5 takeoffs and landings under the belt. I'm going to grab some fuel and then head out again to go back home. But thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.